Hello and welcome back to the Death Row and Executions channel. My name is Paco. You can also follow me on Facebook for updates and more Death Row news. There will be a link to my Facebook in the description below. You can also check out my other channel here on YouTube called The Maximum Sentence, where I cover recent crimes and convictions and a maximum penalty handed down. There will be a link for that as well. As I mentioned in the video that appeared on this channel last week, there are two executions scheduled for September 25th of this year. One is Jeffrey Todd West in Alabama. I did a presentation on his case that appeared on this channel last week. The other execution on September 25th will be Blaine Keith Milam. I have given this warning a few times before. If after a few minutes you decide you don't want to hear any more of this case and want to skip to someone else's video, I will fully understand. Well, finally, I will be doing a presentation that doesn't involve another convenience store robbery and murder. And incredibly, it doesn't involve illegal drugs or drug addicts committing murder to get their fix. I haven't seen any reports of drug activity per se in this case, but it is an incredibly sad and horrible case because it involves the death of a human being that had barely begun to live on this earth. If you count how many months she lived, it was 13. That's how many months this innocent victim was alive in this world. 13. Her name was Amora Bain Carson. And you might be disgusted to know that this crime had also involved an indecent or assault of the victim. She was also beaten to death. And there was another aspect to this crime that I haven't seen before in any other case that I've presented. It's probably a word you've heard before. Exorcism. Yeah, exorcism, believe it or not. In the year 2008, Amora Bain Carson's mother, Jesseca Bain Carson, was 18 years old, which means she gave birth when she was about 17 and got pregnant at about 16. She is now 34 years old. In 2008, Jesseca was living with a young man just outside of Tatum, Texas. His name was Blaine Keith Milam, who was also 18 years old. He would turn 19 10 days later. Milam and Jesseca Carson were living in this mobile home at the time. Milam, at 18, was already a registered offender and had served time for indecent assault of victims that were not yet of age, let's say. On December 2nd of the year 2008, Milam and Jesseca Carson called 911 from their mobile home to let them know that they had gone to a pawn shop for a while, and when they returned home, they found Jessica's daughter, Amora, unresponsive. So they had no problem admitting that they had left a 13-month-old home alone. Police arrived at the mobile home and found Amora deceased. It was also obvious to them that she was severely beaten and she was in full rigor mortis. How does anyone go into full rigor mortis at home while the adults are on a short trip to the pawn shop and back? A medical examiner determined that Amora had bite marks from head to toe, 18 rib fractures, bleeding under her scalp, a lacerated liver, fractures on the back of her head, a broken arm and leg, and a bleeding blood vessel in her neck indicating possible strangulation. The autopsy also revealed that Amora, this is so horrible I almost can't bring myself to say it, and I have to be careful how I say it, that Amora was also indecently mutilated. The medical examiner determined from the injuries conditions that all of that had occurred during at least a 30-hour period. This was an easy case to solve. The story about Milam and Jesseca Carson going to the pawn shop didn't last long. Oh, they did go to a pawn shop that morning, as seen here, where Milam attempted to sell some tools. Investigators theorized that the couple were probably trying to get some money and make a run for it because Amora was already long dead. But that didn't work out for them, so they went back to their home and called 911. Milam eventually made a full confession, and in the confession, he stated that he believed that Amora was filled with demons. Demons inside of her. That she was possessed by demons, and that he was performing an exorcism by beating the demons out of her, and that he used a claw hammer, and that Amora's mother, Jesseca Carson, had participated in the exorcism. Jesseca Carson also confessed, but only admitted to being inside the home and watching the entire time that Milam was performing an exorcism. Anyway, Blaine Milam was convicted for the murder, and in May of the year 2010, about 17 months after the crime, he was sentenced to death. Milam has been scheduled for execution in Texas twice previously. He was scheduled for execution in 2019, and it got stayed after an appeal raised questions about the testimony about the bite marks on Amora. After everything else that was done to Amora, they didn't like how the bite marks were described. So the execution was canceled on that appeal. And in 2021, following another appeal, it was stayed again because the state of Texas had failed to disclose the type of drugs that they intended to use for the execution. The court ruled that Milam's lawyers must know the exact type of drugs that will be used. Just saying that they are drugs that cause death during an execution is not enough. They must know the name of the drugs, what ingredients are in it, who made them, where they came from, and every other detail. It's important. Almost a year after Milam was convicted back in 2010, a Rusk County jury agreed with Blaine Milam that his girlfriend had participated in the murder of her daughter. The jury concluded that Jesseca Carson played a role when she, as the mother, allowed Amora to endure physical torture for 30 hours during an attempted exorcism. She was sentenced in April of 2011 and will spend the rest of her life in prison without a chance for parole. She is currently serving her sentence at the Crane Unit in Gatesville, Texas. I sure hope I don't get too many more of these. Please go ahead and hit the subscribe button for more of these death row and upcoming execution stories so that you're alerted when the next one comes out. You can also follow me on Facebook for updates and more. There will be a link to my Facebook in the description below. My name is Paco Rivera. Thank you for watching. Take care and bye for now.